Splatoon has a lot of good stages and bad stages, but I do wonder, what would ChatGPT think are the 10 absolutely worst stages in the entire Splatoon franchise? Well, let's go ahead and ask it what it thinks are the 10 worst Splatoon stages of all time. Now, I'm gonna warn you, a lot of these picks are gonna make me a little bit mad because they picked some that I think are actually pretty good stages. But with that said, let's get into what ChatGPT said for this week. So starting off at number 10, we have a Splatoon 3 stage, and this one I kind of agree with a little bit, and that is Mincemeat Metalworks. Now, number 1, the aesthetic definitely is not that appealing, but they say the reason why it's hated to them is because it's very flat, sniper dominated, and too easy to get locked out of mid. Also, the aesthetic isn't winning any awards. There you go. But yeah, honestly, this one's not one of my favorites either. I think locked out of mid, I kind of agree. I'm not a huge fan of great stages either. You got that great in the one area. And the big giant poles with the cars on them is cool, but like, I don't know. But yeah, I'm not a huge fan of this one. I kind of agree with this choice. It's not a bad stage to me. I wouldn't say it's, like, worthy of being on this, like, bad list, but, yeah, honestly, there's so many stages in Splatoon now where I feel like if we were ranking everyone, then this would be a lot lower for me. But, or it wouldn't be as hated, for me, I don't know, but, I kind of agree with this pick, because, yeah, the aesthetic is definitely not the most appealing, as I said earlier, but, There's some fun to be had on this stage, but yeah, I'd probably rank it low, personally, for me as well. Now we go from a stage I kind of agree with to one I definitely don't agree with, and it's funny because I just did a video this week as well where we talked about this stage, and someone said it was like one of, you know, or it was a bad stage. But at number 9, we have the very iconic, but somewhat hated for some reason, Port Mackerel. I don't understand why people hate this stage. I don't love it that much either, but I've never hated it. Like, I always kind of liked it. I liked having the action be, like, in these little alleyways and it being kind of intense. So yeah, I don't know why it's so hated. Like, I guess the alleyways just kind of turn people off. It gets a bit too, I don't know, I guess claustrophobic. But what they said is that the narrow corridors are, and tons of blind corners make this feel like Splatoon Warehouse Edition. Flanking is a chore. So yeah, like, again, I can see why people maybe wouldn't be too hip on the alleyways, like the narrow corridors, because it's like, you know, it's close-up action, but I honestly enjoyed it, you know? I had a lot of fun memories in Splatoon 1 especially, where, like, my whole team would just be in that corridor section, just flanking and splatting people, and it was definitely a fun time. So yeah, it's definitely not a great stage, but I wouldn't say it's like one of the worst, so I disagree here. At number 8, we have another stage that I kind of don't agree with here, because I've always enjoyed this one. So at number 8, we have Kelp Dome. And here's the thing, right? They said Rainmaker modes especially, which honestly, that I agree with. I did not like Rainmaker in Kelp Dome. But they say why it's hated here, and they say people either love or hate this one. The grates are annoying, and in Rainmaker, the paths are so weird that it can feel like a maze. I definitely agree with that. I did not enjoy Rainmaker that much at all in this map. But the rest of the modes, I thought were fun. I thought it's a fun, I love the middle section. That's always where a lot of the action happens, obviously. The grates are definitely going to be a low point for some people. I definitely agree with that. And again, Rainmaker was kind of a chore in this map. There was also a lot of shortcuts that maybe felt a bit too annoying to pull off, like the one ramp into the enemy's base. Walking across the grates with no protection, you know, if you're a pro, you probably know how to do that well, but if you're a casual player, like, I'd say avoid the grates as much as possible because you have no protection up there. Like, you have to just walk, and if you're splatted there, there's no way to, like, really escape that well. But yeah, overall, I wouldn't say it's a bad stage. If we're talking Rainmaker, like, if we're doing, like, a top 10 worst stages in Rainmaker, I'd probably put this on here. But in terms of overall, I wouldn't put it on here. At number 7, we have kind of an interesting one, and one that I didn't expect, really. So number 7, we have the Reef from Splatoon 2. The, you know, the first stage, like Salt Spray Rig from the first game. And they say why it's hated is because it's often called bland and forgettable, too symmetrical and flat in most parts, and didn't stand out among the rest. Honestly, this might also be my least favorite, like, first stage of... Actually, no. I don't like Scorch Gorge that much in Splatoon 3. But, this one is definitely not a bad stage. I like the bridge area. That was always fun to fight in. Yeah, it's basic, but I mean, it's supposed to be, kind of. It's the first stage in the game. It's like it's like the starter stage. Like, you know how Mario Kart has, like, the starter track where it's like... It's not the best track in the game, but does a good job of, like, you know, giving you a feel for the game. This one kind of does the same. But, yeah, I wouldn't say it's a bad stage. It's just, I do agree it's, you know, it might be kind of forgettable and kind of bland, but, and kind of basic, but that's kind of its job, is to not be super flashy. It's supposed to, like, really just give you a feel for Splatoon 2. So yeah, while I wouldn't personally put it on a top 10 worst of all time, I can see the argument here, but for me, I wouldn't put it on this list. At number 6, we have one that I know a lot of people are just not a fan of. It was in the first game, and back then, people were not a huge fan of it, and it returned to Splatoon 3, and people still really don't like it that much, and that is Bluefin Depot. And they say here why it's hated is that it's weird, disjointed layout, and poor flow. The split middle section makes for awkward engagements and hard comebacks. So here's the thing, right? They didn't specify whether it's Splatoon 1 or 3, but I feel like 3 might actually be the worst version because it doesn't have that middle section anymore. It's like now divided with the canal. And then in the first game, you had that middle area that connects the two split areas. For me, I kind of agreed in Splatoon 1, and not so much Splatoon 3, and not because it's better. I think 3 is definitely the worst version, for me at least. But I feel like, you know, ever since the first game, we've had a lot of stages come in, so I feel like, you know, if the stage... if the stage list was, you know, still kind of short, I might put this on here. But if we were to rank every stage in existence, this would not be like one of the worst in my opinion. But yeah, might be a hot take of my own. I don't know. Like I can see why people might prefer Splatoon 3's because, you know, maybe it changed enough for them to really like it. But for me, I actually kind of prefer Splatoon 1's with the middle section included. So yeah, I wouldn't say it's a bad stage, but it's definitely not one of the best. Stop! Now she'll die a virgin! Stop! Stop it! Okay. Stop. Okay.
Stay the fuck in the fucking car!
Oh, fuck! That was a sneak peek of all the content that you might be missing out on by not becoming a YouTube member. When you're a YouTube member, you get so much bonus content such as all my anime watch-throughs, classic content like old Twitch streams, movie watch-alongs, and more. So what are you waiting for? Hit the join button down below, pick the tier you want, and enjoy all the benefits that come with your YouTube membership. If you're already a member, thank you for your support, enjoy your benefits, and now let's get back into the video. Number 5, we have one that I also don't agree with at all, and that is Arowana Mall from Splatoon 1 and 2. Again, didn't specify whether it's the first one or the second one that they don't like here, but they say why it's hated is because it's a sniper's paradise and a mobility nightmare. The narrow side lanes and height differences are a pain to push through. Honestly, fair argument, but I still love this stage. It's one of my favorites from Splatoon 1, honestly. The middle area was definitely fun to fight in. I actually like the narrow corridors. This is kind of the same argument as Port Mackerel. Like, I don't know why having narrow corridors is, like, a bad thing. Because honestly, like, the memories I have in Splatoon 1 especially were in those narrow corridors. Like, you know, having my team be there and just flanking the enemy and, you know, having a lot of chaos happen there. There are grades here, which, you know, fair, but, yeah, like, I don't... It has cool elevation. I don't think that really should be a low point because I don't know, it's one of those things where I guess it depends on how good you are at the game with, like, managing the elevation, the height differences, the narrow pathways. But for me, I love this stage. I disagree here. It's one of my favorites for Splatoon 1, and probably always will be. So I warned you guys earlier how this list might make me mad, and maybe might make you a little bit mad, because number 4, we have one of the most popular stages in the entire Splatoon franchise, and that is the one and only Walleye Warehouse. They think Walleye Warehouse is the 4th worst Splatoon stage of all time. And the reason why it's hated to ChatGPT here is it's tiny, super central focus, and spawn camping can get real. Doesn't flow well in some ranked mode, so they're obviously talking about the first game, I imagine. The spawn camping definitely can be kind of annoying, but overall, this stage is great. I loved it. It's one of the, you know, starter ones with Salt Spray Rig. But yeah, I disagree. I love this stage so much. Like, the middle area is great. All the different, like, corridor pathways are fun. The one rampant and the enemy's base is always fun to go up and, like, spawn bombs and, or splat bombs and whatever else, and have the Kraken go up there was always fun. But yeah, I mean, yeah, it's kind of super central focus, but is that really a bad thing? I feel like a lot of ones are like that, right? Aren't there a lot of stages that kind of focus a bit much on the center, but it's really not that much of a bad thing, in my opinion? Also, it's tiny, yeah, but again, it's like, it's one of the starter ones. Like, it's gonna be tiny. It's not one of the ones that are like the DLC, like the unlockable ones, or the free update ones where they're, you know, more expansive. Like, this is supposed to be kind of tiny and maybe a bit basic in a way, but it's still fun. Like, I don't think basic needs to be, like, not fun. This is still a very fun stage, so I disagree here. Oh my god, number 3, man. This is where it breaks me. This is where it breaks me, because this is one of my favorite stages in the entire Splatoon franchise. I don't know why people hate it. I don't know why ChatGPT also hates it, but man, Moray Towers. I don't understand it. This is one of the best stages of all time, in my opinion. There is a reason why it's in Smash Bros. It deserves it. It is such an iconic stage. Like, I don't know, do you hate verticality? Do you hate how tall it is? Do you hate, like, the different layers of it? That's why I enjoyed it. It was such a fun stage, and the reason why, and they did say Splatoon 1 and 2, so they did mention both versions, which, you know, they're both kind of the same, so it makes sense. But they say why it's hated here is because of long vertical corridors with little variation. Chargers dominate from above, obviously. Inkling mountain climbing is not most people's idea of fun. Okay. Yeah, this is a sniper stage, I agree, but, like, there's ways to avoid them. If you're a good player, you can definitely get around the sniping. And, I mean, here's the thing. I don't think a stage should be considered bad because it's dominated by a certain group of weapons. Because, again, there's ways to get around it. If you're someone who's dealt with snipers in other stages, like this one, you know, to figure out what to do, like, get around them, take shortcuts, catch them off guard. Like, there's ways to do that. So I don't think there needs to be a criticism, or a huge one at least, where, like, this could be considered a bad stage because of it being a mostly sniper-dominated stage. Like, yeah, that's true, but they're not, like, invincible. They're not, you know, they're not OP. It's just you gotta figure out how to get around them. So there you go. But yeah, this is the biggest, like, disagree here. I love this stage so much. This is definitely nowhere near a top 10 worst stage list for me. Now, number 2, I actually kind of agree with here, which is Hammerhead Bridge, specifically the Splatoon 3 version. They say why it's hated. It's basically a straight line, super linear, hard to flank, and favors long-range weapons like chargers and splatlings way too much. Honestly, I kind of agree here. I much prefer the Splatoon, the Splatoon 1 version, I think, is where that came from. Because they had, like, the grates you could walk on, there's, like, bridges. This one definitely is a bit boring. And yeah, it is a bit too straight of a stage. Like, there's not really a whole lot on the sides. And yeah, I think this is one of those cases where it is very central focused, but in kind of a bad way. So yeah, I think having more platforms and maybe having a bit more to do on each side of the stage would definitely help, because it definitely is a bit too straight, as I said here. But yeah, the other version is definitely the better version because it has more to offer in my opinion. So, honestly, like, I wouldn't say it's, like, maybe number 2 for me, but if I made my own top 10 list, I'd probably put this stage somewhere on here. And with that, we are finally at our number 1 pick from ChatGPT for the worst stage in Splatoon history, and this one really hurts my soul to agree with because this is my favorite stage from the first game, but the third version, the Splatoon 3 version, as they mentioned here, was kind of a downgrade, and that is Mahi Mahi Resort. And again, it hurts to say that because I loved it in Splatoon 1, but the third version, just, I don't know what they did. They kind of just shrunk it, and it's too short of a stage. But what they said here is the redesign shrunk the map a lot, making it cramped and chaotic. The water level gimmick doesn't add much anymore, and it can feel claustrophobic in ranked modes. That I agree with, because the fact that it takes like 3 seconds to get to the middle is kind of a problem. Like, it should feel like 5 to 10 seconds to, you know, reach where the Rainmaker or the tower is in tower control and go from there. It takes way too short of a time to do anything in this game. They really just... There's a certain B word I want to say, but I don't want to use that kind of language here. But there's a certain B word that can be used to describe what they've done to this stage. If you know, you know. But yeah, honestly, like, I don't think it's the worst stage of all time, but this would be one of my top 10s for sure. Man, it hurts because in Splatoon 1 it was so good, but then they just shrunk it a lot and they made it just too cramped and, you know. Oh, also, oh my god, Splat Zones. This is one of my least favorite Splat Zone stages of all time. The zone is way too small. It takes little to no effort to claim the zone when it's the opponents. Like, oh my god. I did not ever enjoy playing Splat Zones on this stage. It was such a nightmare. So, yeah, it really hurts me to do this, but if I were to make my own top 10, I would put this on here for sure, because it really is a downgrade to me from Splatoon 1. Man, that was quite the list, but honestly, I wasn't really that upset with it, but there were some picks that I definitely don't agree with. But what do you think is the worst Splatoon stage? Let me know in the comments, but for right now, subscribe, ring the bell, and smash that like button for more amazing ChatGPT videos to come in the future, and I will see y'all in the next one. Goodbye, everybody!